My name is Somananda, or Soma for short. I have been practicing, teaching yoga, tantra, meditation for the past 25, 26 years or so. I've started my career actually many years ago as an attorney, as a lawyer, believe it or not. And then after some years of doing that and doing yoga during the evenings, I've decided it's time to pick a side. And here we are today with the Somananda Tantra School. So when it is discussed the subject of God, then definitely we know that this is a question that has been asked for thousands and thousands of years in so many traditions, so many teachers, spiritual masters, religions. We have seen that, as all of you know, for millennia. People ask the most fundamental question, what is God? And does God exist? And of course, some people ask, what if God is actually one of us? Is it that God is a human being, or maybe it is part of the human experience? What is it all about? Those questions have plagued humanity for millennia. That's why I'm not going to be able to answer it today and save you thousands of years of questions. I wish I could do that, but I am going to give a very good hint on this topic, because I'm going to present to you the version or the understanding of this very important question from the standpoint of one of the most incredible teaching in the history of humanity. And this is, of course, Kashmiri Shaivism. Some of you have heard this term before, some of you haven't, so let me just briefly explain what that means. When we're talking about Kashmiri Shaivism, we're talking about the teachings of Tantra from India. In the Indian tradition, we have many different schools of Tantra along the centuries and even for thousands of years. Out of all these teachings of Tantra, and Tantra, by the way, is a very, very spiritual teaching. Tantra is a very comprehensive system of knowledge. It's actually a spiritual system. In fact, some people will define it as a compendium of knowledge, and within the Tantric ancient texts, they are called the Agamas and Tantras. There are 64 classical texts and other supplemental texts which are out there in the Indian environment. When you study these different texts, you'll find that Tantra deals with many different things, from astronomy, astrology, to the science of colors, sounds, vibrations, many different things in Tantra. It's a very wide and comprehensive topic. It is a way to spiritually change a human being so the human being can evolve at the level of the consciousness. That means Tantra is a system that can bring a person eventually to enlightenment. When you look at all those different paths of Tantra and teachers and masters in Tantra, you will find that there have been one teaching that is considered to be the supreme, the highest teaching in Tantra, and this is Kashmiri Shaivism. What is Kashmiri Shaivism? It is a teaching that comes from Kashmir. No surprise, this is the name. And Shaivism simply means that it is to do with the concept of Shiva, or the supreme consciousness. Now, having said that, it means that Tantra in Kashmiri Shaivism is actually so profound and so mind-blowing that in fact Kashmiri Shaivism, and especially one of the most famous masters of Kashmiri Shaivism called Abhinavagupta, is considered to have been the top tantric in the whole of India. Question: can you tell me what is God? In the tantric tradition of India, specifically, as I said, Kashmiri Shaivism, this has been studied, this concept of God has been studied and realized by the most advanced spiritual masters in tantric history, such as Abhinavagupta, who was the supreme tantric leader of all Indian schools, were able to take the metaphysical understanding of reality and bring it to a practical level of yoga practice. Kashmiri Shaivism is the most advanced tantric yoga. They developed incredible methods of meditation, of yoga, and other secret techniques, not just to answer the questions about the existence of God or who is God, but techniques that make the practitioner viscerally and existentially experience the answer. That means you feel and you see with your own eyes the answers to these questions. Now, I don't know about you, but that is what I'm looking for. Kashmiri Shaivism shows us that the actual structure of the divine level or the celestial manifestations, it brings the practitioner to an incredible understanding of the truth of divinity. It takes the practitioner to that strata of realization and enlightenment that very few people in the world actually get to realize. It is the most magical teaching in existence and the most rewarding. It's much more than just some moment of wow or some changeful experience in your life. It is a complete transformation. It makes a huge difference in a person's life. It changes your consciousness. And that is not possible, or really easy at least, to define in a very clear way. So, is God one of us? Let me tell you this. In Kashmiri Shaivism, the answer is very, very strange. It's both yes and no. Yes, in the sense that indeed the human being has an identity with everything. When we're talking about the fact that is God one of us, God can be theoretically and practically, depends how you see it, all of us and everything. It's the sum total of everything. But at the same time, it is outside of us, depending on your level of consciousness. Kashmiri Shaivism breaks this down to very specific levels. We call them the 36 tattvas of Kashmiri Shaivism. We study those, and when you follow those tattvas, those understanding of the teachings of the tattvas, it's like a roadmap to enlightenment. And this is what we are teaching in Kashmiri Shaivism. That's why the answer is there, but the best way to truly understand this is to actually do the work, do the practice, and then become that. And then the answers are there within you. You don't need anybody to tell you anything else. So I hope this gave you some interesting points to this topic of Kashmiri Shaivism. And the question of today, is God one of us, or what is God? The answers are there, they're real, but it has to be done by you. Nobody can force feed you or kind of give you the answer. You need to realize it yourself. That's why they call it in yoga self-realization. If you want to actually get there, Kashmiri Shaivism is one of the most powerful methods in all my career that I've seen that can actually bring you to the answer. That's what I had to say for today, short and sweet.